The room was too quiet for a closing. That's what I remember first. I stood in the doorway of the real estate office in Phoenix, Arizona. My whole body felt wrong. Sore. Weak. Like I'd been hit by something I couldn't see. I had just gotten out of the hospital 2 days ago. The stitches from my surgery pulled every time I took a deep breath, every time I moved too fast. But I came anyway. Because I got a call that morning. A voicemail, actually. "Miss Carter, just confirming you're closing today at 2 p.m. See you soon." I didn't know what they were talking about. So I drove over. The agent looked up when I walked in. Her smile faded fast. "Miss Carter?" she said, confused. "You're here?" "Yeah," I said. "I got a message about a closing?" She blinked. "You already signed everything last week." My stomach dropped. I shook my head. "No, I've been in the hospital for 2 weeks." She didn't respond right away, just stared at me like I'd said something impossible. Then I saw them, sitting across the table, my parents, my mom, my dad, calm, comfortable, like this was the most normal thing in the world. There was a man next to them, mid-40s maybe, nice suit. He looked like a buyer, and he looked uncomfortable. "Emily," my mom said softly. She didn't stand up, didn't even look surprised. "Don't start. Don't start." I felt my chest tighten. "Start what?" I said. My voice cracked a little. No one answered. The agent cleared her throat and slid a thick stack of papers toward me. "These are the signed documents," she said carefully. "Everything was notarized last Wednesday." I looked down. My name was on every page. Emily J. Carter. My signature. Again and again and again. "But I didn't write it. I didn't sign this," I whispered. My dad leaned back in his chair. He had this look on his face. Not worried, not guilty, almost smug. "You gave us permission, Emily," he said. No, I didn't." I looked at my mom. She was looking down at her hands now, quiet, avoiding my eyes. "Mom," I said. She didn't move. The buyer shifted in his seat. He glanced at the agent, then at me, then back down. He didn't say anything, but I could tell he felt it too. Something was very wrong. There was another man in the corner of the room, older, glasses, a small leather folder in front of him. The notary. He finally spoke. "I verified the ID myself," he said slowly. "She signed in person." My hands started shaking, because I knew something they didn't. I wasn't even conscious that day. I took a step closer to the table. My legs felt weak, but I didn't care. "Check the date," I said. The agent looked at me. "Please," I said. My voice was breaking now. "Just check the date." She looked down at the document. Her face changed. She looked back up at me, then at my parents. The room went completely still. The notary leaned forward slightly, like he was seeing something for the first time. The buyer didn't move. My mom finally looked up, but she didn't say anything, and for the first time since I walked into that room, someone looked unsure. If you've ever felt like something was wrong but no one believed you, keep listening, because sometimes the truth doesn't speak. It waits. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just stood there, frozen. My body still felt weak from the surgery. My left side ached where they cut me open. My vision blurred a little when I stood too long, but none of that compared to what I felt inside. Betrayal doesn't hit loud. It sinks in quietly. My mom finally looked at me. Really looked at me. "You're overreacting," she said. Overreacting. That word sat in the air like poison. I stared at her hands. The same hands that held mine when I was little. The same hands that braided my hair before school. The same hands that signed papers, pretending to be me. My dad leaned forward, elbows on the table. "You were going to lose the place anyway, Emily," he said. "We helped you." Helped me. I swallowed hard. My throat felt tight. "I paid every bill," I said. "Every single month." No answer. The agent looked down at her papers. She didn't know what to do, I could tell. The notary shifted in his seat. His confidence from earlier was gone. Now he just looked nervous. The buyer spoke up quietly. "Should we pause this?" No one answered him. Because the truth was starting to breathe in that room. It wasn't fully out yet, but I could feel it. Everyone could. My dad's jaw tightened. My mom folded her arms across her chest, defensive. I looked at the agent again. "What day did I supposedly sign this?" I asked. She hesitated. Then she said it. "May 18th. My heart stopped. "I was in surgery that day," I said. "I was under anesthesia. I have the hospital records." The notary's face went pale. The agent set the paper down slowly. "Miss Carter," she said quietly, "if that's true—" She didn't finish. She didn't have to. My mom stood up suddenly. "This is ridiculous," she said. "Emily, you're confused. You've been through a lot." "Don't," I said. My voice came out stronger than I expected. She stopped. I looked right at her. "Don't treat me like I'm crazy." She didn't say anything after that. Neither did my dad. The buyer cleared his throat and stood up. "I think I should step outside," he said. No one stopped him. The door clicked shut behind him. And then it was just us. Me. My parents. And two strangers who were starting to realize they'd been part of something very wrong. The agent spoke carefully. "We may need to verify some things before we proceed." My dad's face hardened. "Everything was done legally," he said. "Was it?" I asked. He didn't answer. Because he couldn't. Not without lying again. If this already feels wrong— Wait. Because this wasn't even the worst part. It didn't start with the apartment. It started years ago. Small things, easy to ignore. My parents always needed help. A loan here, a bill there. "Just until next month," my mom would say. Next month never came. When I turned 23, I moved to Scottsdale, got my first real job at a marketing firm. It wasn't glamorous, but it paid well. I worked double shifts, saved everything, barely went out. By the time I was 29, I had enough. I bought my apartment. 1 bedroom, small balcony, nothing fancy, but it was mine. That's when things changed. My dad started showing up more. He'd drop by unannounced, check things, ask questions. "You sure you can handle this alone?" he'd say. "You know property taxes go up, right? What if something breaks?" I thought he was just being a dad, worried, protective. I didn't see it for what it was, control. My mom was quieter about it. She'd come over and reorganize my kitchen, offer to help with paperwork. "You're so busy, sweetie. Let me handle the boring stuff." I said yes, because I trusted her. That was my first mistake. Then came the hospital. It happened fast. I woke up one morning with a sharp pain in my side. Couldn't stand, couldn't breathe right. Rachel drove me to the ER. They said it was my appendix. Emergency surgery. No time to wait. I remember signing one form, just one, for the surgery itself. Then they put the mask on my face and told me to count backward. I got to 7. After that, nothing. I woke up hours later, groggy, stitches pulling at my skin. Rachel was there. "You're okay," she said. "It went fine." I nodded, too tired to talk. I stayed in the hospital for 5 days, then another week recovering at Rachel's place because I couldn't climb stairs yet. I didn't think about my apartment much. I knew it was safe. I had renter's insurance. My bills were on autopay, and my parents had a spare key, just in case. But while I was gone, they didn't just check on things. They moved things. They packed things. They talked to people. And somehow, they became me. I didn't know it then, but they'd been planning this for a while. Maybe since the day I bought the place. Because to them, I didn't own it. They did. They just had to wait for the right moment. And when I went under that anesthesia, they took it. The worst part? I gave them access. I gave them trust. I gave them everything they needed. That was my mistake. Maybe I forgot something. That thought wouldn't leave me alone. I sat in my car outside the real estate office, hands gripping the steering wheel, engine off. The sun was setting. Orange light spread across the windshield. I kept replaying it in my head. What if I did sign something? What if I gave permission and didn't remember? What if the medicine messed with my memory? I felt my chest tighten. My breathing got shallow. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was making this bigger than it was. I almost walked back inside, almost apologized, almost let it go. Then my phone buzzed. A text from Rachel. "How did it go?" I stared at the screen. My thumb hovered over the keyboard. I didn't know what to say. Because saying it out loud made it real. Finally, I typed one line. They sold my apartment. 3 dots appeared instantly. What? Then another message. Who sold it? I hesitated, then I typed it. My parents. The dots appeared again, then stopped, then started again. She was trying to find the right words. Finally, she just called me. I picked up. Emily, what the hell happened? I told her everything. The signatures, the date, the notary. My mom and dad sitting there like it was normal. She didn't interrupt. When I finished, there was silence. Then she said something I needed to hear. That's not legal. I closed my eyes. I don't know, Rach. Maybe I'm confused. No, she said firmly. You were in surgery. You have proof. This isn't confusion. This is fraud. Fraud. That word hit me hard. Because it wasn't just a mistake. It was a crime. And my parents committed it. What do? I asked. You fight, she said. We get the records, we prove it, and we stop this. I wanted to believe her, but part of me was still scared. Not of losing the apartment. I was scared of what I'd find if I kept digging. Because deep down, I already knew the truth. They did this on purpose. And they thought they'd get away with it. If you've ever doubted yourself when something felt off, don't ignore that feeling. It might be the only thing telling you the truth. Rachel didn't let me spiral. She showed up at my place that night with coffee and her laptop. Not my place, actually, a rental, temporary, because I didn't have anywhere else to go. This isn't normal, she said, setting everything down on the small kitchen table. We check everything. I didn't want to. Part of me still hoped this was all a mistake, some kind of misunderstanding that would fix itself. But Rachel was already opening her laptop. Hospital records first, she said. I logged into my patient portal, found the discharge summary. Admission date, May 17th, 9:47 p.m. Surgery start time, May 18th, 6:22 a.m. Recovery room, May 18th, 10:15 a.m. I stared at the screen. Rachel leaned closer. What time did they say you signed? I pulled out my phone, found the email from the title company. 2 p.m., May 18th. She looked at me. You were still in recovery. I nodded. My throat felt tight. Print that, she said. I did. Then we pulled up the signed document, the one the agent had emailed me a copy of. I scrolled to the notary stamp. Date, 05/18. Time, 2:14 p.m. Location, Desktop Notary Services, Phoenix, Arizona. Rachel sat back. You were under anesthesia that morning, and in a hospital bed that afternoon. Yeah. She didn't say anything for a second. Then she said it. Then you didn't sign it. Simple, clear, but not easy. Because proving it was a different thing. We requested copies of everything. The sale agreement, the notary log, the ID verification. Rachel called the notary office directly. I sat next to her, listening. Hi, yeah, I'm calling about a notarization done on May 18th, she said. For Emily Carter. There was a pause. Uh-huh. Yeah. Can you tell me what ID was used? Another pause. Rachel's face changed. And you verified it in person? She looked at me. Okay, thank you. She hung up. What? I asked. He said a woman came in, showed a driver's license. He stamped it. A woman, I repeated. Not you. I felt my stomach turn. But he still approved it. Rachel nodded slowly. He said she seemed credible. I almost laughed. But it wasn't funny. It was my mother. She walked into that office, pretended to be me, signed my name, and no one questioned it. Rachel leaned forward. We need proof, she said. How? We go back to the notary. We ask to see the logs. We ask if there's any camera footage. I hesitated. And if there's not? Then we get a lawyer, she said. Because this isn't just wrong, Emily. It's illegal. I nodded. But deep down, I was scared. Because if we proved it, then my parents didn't just make a mistake. They planned this. They looked at me in a hospital bed and saw an opportunity. And they took it. The buyer closed anyway. Even after everything. Even after I showed up. Even after I said I didn't sign. Legally, the paperwork looked valid. The title company said they couldn't stop it without a court order, and I didn't have time to get one. I got the call 2 days later. Miss Carter, the sale has been finalized. Funds have been transferred. Just like that. My apartment, gone. I sat on the floor of my temporary rental. Empty walls, bare floors, echoing silence. Everything I owned was in boxes around me. I thought fighting would stop it. I thought the truth would matter. It didn't. Not fast enough. Rachel sat down next to me. She didn't say anything at first, just sat there. Finally, she spoke. "We can still go after them." I shook my head. "For what?" "The apartment's gone." "For the money," she said. "For what they did. For fraud." I pulled my knees up to my chest. "I don't care about the money." She looked at me. "Then what do you care about?" I didn't answer right away, because I didn't know. All I knew was that something inside me had broken. This wasn't just about the apartment anymore. It wasn't even about the money. It was about trust, and that was already gone. My parents took it, and I didn't know how to get it back. Rachel put her hand on my shoulder. "You don't have to decide right now," she said, "but don't let them win." I looked at her. "They already did." "No," she said firmly. "They got away with something. That's not the same as winning." I wanted to believe her, but sitting there on that floor, surrounded by everything I had left, it sure felt like losing. My phone buzzed. A text from my mom. "We need to talk." I stared at it. Rachel saw it too. "Don't respond," she said. I didn't. I just turned my phone over and closed my eyes, because I didn't have anything left to say to her, not yet. I met the notary in person. His name was Mr. Harlan, late 60s, thin glasses, quiet voice. Rachel came with me. We sat across from him in a small office that smelled like old paper and coffee. He looked different this time, nervous. "I've been thinking about your case," he said slowly. "And?" He pulled out a folder. I checked my logs again. Something's off. My heart started racing. "What do you mean?" He opened the folder and slid a page toward me. "The ID I scanned that day," he said. "It didn't match properly." I stared at him. "Then why did you approve it?" Rachel asked. He hesitated. "They seemed convincing." "They?" I said. He looked up. "Your mother. And your father. He was with her." The room felt smaller. "He didn't sign anything," Mr. Harlan continued, "but he was there, in the room. He did most of the talking, actually." "My dad, of course." Rachel leaned forward. "You realize this is fraud, right?" Mr. Harlan nodded slowly. "I do now." "And you're willing to admit that?" He looked at me, then back at Rachel. "I made a mistake," he said quietly. "A big one, and I'm sorry." I didn't know what to say. He reached into his desk drawer and pulled out a small USB drive. "I still have the camera footage," he said. The room went completely silent. I stared at the drive in his hand. "You recorded it?" Rachel asked. "Security camera," he said. "It auto-records every appointment. I checked this morning. It's still there." He slid the drive across the desk. "I can't undo what happened," he said, "but maybe this helps." I picked it up. It was small, light, but it felt like the heaviest thing I'd ever held. Because suddenly, this wasn't my word against theirs anymore. This was proof. Rachel looked at me. "You okay?" I nodded, but I wasn't, because now I had a choice. I could walk away, let it go, move on. Or I could use this, and blow everything wide open. Mr. Harlan stood up. "Whatever you decide," he said, "I'll cooperate fully. I owe you that much." I looked down at the drive in my hand. Then I looked at Rachel. She didn't say anything. She didn't have to. I already knew what I was going to do. We didn't confront them first. We invited them. Family dinner. My idea. Rachel thought I was crazy. "You're going to just sit down and eat with them?" she asked. "No," I said. "I'm going to show them." She understood. I sent the text to my mom on a Thursday afternoon. "Can we talk? Dinner at my place, Saturday at 6. She responded within minutes. "Of course, sweetie, we'll be there." Sweetie. Like nothing happened. Like she didn't steal everything from me. Saturday came. Rachel helped me set up. We kept it simple. Pasta, salad, bread, normal. My laptop sat on the side table, plugged in, ready. At 6 o'clock, they knocked. I opened the door. My mom smiled when she saw me, warm, familiar, fake. "Hi, honey," she said, stepping inside. My dad followed. He was carrying a bottle of wine. "Thought we'd bring something," he said. I nodded. Didn't smile. Didn't hug them. Just let them in. Rachel stayed in the kitchen, quiet, watching. We sat down at the table. My mom made small talk. Asked how I was feeling. Said the place looked nice. My dad poured wine. Like this was normal. Like we were normal. I barely touched my food. Halfway through the meal, I stood up. "I want to show you something," I said. My mom looked up, confused. "What is it?" I didn't answer. I just walked over to the laptop, connected it to the TV. Rachel stood near the door, arms crossed. My dad set his fork down. "Emily, what's going on?" I pressed play. No speech, no explanation, just video. The screen showed the inside of a notary office. Timestamp, May 18th, 2:11 p.m. The door opened. A woman walked in. Same height as me, same build, same hair color. But not me. My mom. The room went completely silent. On screen, she smiled at Mr. Harlan, said something I couldn't hear. Then she reached into her purse, pulled out an ID. My ID. My dad's face drained of color. My mom didn't move, didn't blink, just stared at the screen. The video kept playing. She sat down. Mr. Harlan slid papers toward her, and she signed. Calm, careful, like she'd practiced. My name, over and over. Emily J. Carter. In her handwriting, not mine. My dad stood up suddenly. "Emily, sit down," I said. My voice didn't shake. He hesitated. Then he sat. The video continued. My mom shook Mr. Harlan's hand, smiled again. Then she left. My dad followed her out in the footage. He'd been waiting in the hallway the whole time. I paused the video. The freeze frame showed both of them, clear as day. No one spoke. Rachel didn't move. I didn't cry. I just stood there, looking at them. My mom finally looked up at me. Her face was pale. Her hands were shaking. "You don't understand," she whispered. "I understand perfectly," I said. My dad ran his hand through his hair. "We were trying to help you." "Stop," I said. He stopped. I walked closer to the table. "You went into a notary office," I said slowly. "You used my ID. You signed my name. You sold my apartment while I was in a hospital bed." My mom's eyes filled with tears, but I didn't care. "You didn't help me," I said. "You stole from me." My dad stood again. "We can fix this." "How?" I asked. He didn't answer. Because he couldn't. There was no fixing this. Rachel finally spoke. "You should leave," she said quietly. My mom looked at her, then at me. "Emily, please." "Leave," I said. She didn't move at first. Then slowly she stood up. My dad grabbed his jacket. Neither of them looked at me. They walked to the door. My mom stopped, turned around. "I'm sorry," she said. I didn't respond, because sorry didn't mean anything anymore. The door closed behind them, and just like that, they were gone. Rachel walked over and stood next to me. "You okay?" she asked. I nodded. I wasn't, but I would be. Because for the first time in weeks, I wasn't the one carrying the weight. They were. I didn't press charges right away, not because I couldn't, but because I needed something else first. Distance. I spent 2 weeks thinking about it. Rachel said I should take them to court, get the money back, make them pay. And maybe she was right. But every time I thought about sitting in a courtroom, facing them again, hearing their excuses, I felt exhausted. So I made a different choice. I took the video to a lawyer, filed a report, got everything on record. Then I let it sit. Because the truth was already out. They knew I had proof. They knew what they did. And they'd have to live with that. I didn't need a judge to tell me I was right. I already knew. A month later, I moved. Not far. Just to Tempe. A smaller apartment, quieter neighborhood, less space, but more peace. Rachel helped me unpack. "You sure about this?" she asked, setting a box down in the living room. "Yeah," I said. "I am," she smiled. "Good, because you deserve a fresh start." I nodded. I didn't tell my parents where I moved, didn't give them my new address, didn't update them at all. They tried calling. My mom left voicemails, sweet ones at first, then angry ones, then desperate ones. I never listened to them all the way through. My dad sent texts. We need to talk about this. You're being unreasonable. We're still your parents. I deleted every one, because some things don't need closure. They just need an ending, and this was mine. Rachel stayed in my life. She came over most weekends. We'd drink coffee on my tiny balcony and talk about nothing important. Normal things. Work. Movies. Stupid stuff. It felt good. One Saturday, she asked me something I wasn't expecting. Do you miss them? I thought about it. Sometimes, I said honestly, but not the people they actually are. I miss the people I thought they were. She nodded. That makes sense. I don't think they'll ever understand what they did, I said. Probably not, Rachel said, but that's not your problem anymore. She was right. It wasn't. I started sleeping better after that. Stopped checking my phone every hour. Stopped wondering if they'd show up. I just lived. Small life. Quiet life. But it was mine. And no one could take that from me. A few months later, I got a letter in the mail. From a law firm. My heart dropped. I thought maybe they were suing me, or trying to fight back somehow. But when I opened it was a settlement offer. They were giving back the money. Not all of it, but most of it. There was no note, no apology, just a check. I stared at it for a long time. Rachel called that night. What are you going to do? She asked. I don't know, I said. You don't have to cash it, she said. Not if it doesn't feel right. But it wasn't about the money. It was about what it meant. They couldn't apologize with words, so they tried to do it with this. I cashed the check, used some of it to pay off debt, saved the rest. But I didn't call them, didn't say thank you, because it still didn't fix what they broke, and I wasn't going to pretend it did. Time kept moving. I got better at my job, made new friends, started going to yoga classes on Thursdays. Life felt lighter. One night, I was sitting on my balcony watching the sunset. My phone buzzed, a text from a number I didn't recognize. I hope you're doing okay, Mom. I stared at it for a long time. Then I deleted it. Not out of anger, just acceptance. Because I didn't need her hope. I was okay, and I did that on my own. I looked out at the sky, pink and orange and fading into blue, and I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Peace. Not because everything was perfect, but because I finally knew my worth, and I wasn't going to let anyone take it again. Not even family. If someone shows you who they really are, believe them the first time. And don't be afraid to walk away, even if it's family. Because sometimes the strongest thing you can do is choose yourself.